Hello. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. How are we on this, well, let's say chilly, blustery, beautiful Kissimmee Thursday? Yeah, we're on Thursday. Well, my name's Lorette Nickel, and I am so honored to be joined here by Troy Page. And Troy has an incredible 1966 Ford Bronco custom sand dragster. And Troy, this is a one-of-a-kind race build from a prototype. It was a pre-production Bronco. Can you tell us about it?
I can. So back in 1964 or 5, this Bronco was built as a prototype by Ford. There were 6 of them, and when Ford was done with all their testing, they called Bill Stroppe and said, you can have all 6. So Bill took him to his shop in Southern California and called Charlie Erickson and Parnelli Jones and told Charlie he could come down and take his pick. So he went down to Stroppe's shop, picked this Bronco, and then took it from a stock Bronco after the testing and built this racer.
Wow. Well, of course, for everyone that is walking around, welcome to the Real Garage Life stage. We're here in Kissimmee, Florida for the world's largest auction. And we are here at the Midway. And Troy is just explaining this custom sand dragster for the Bronco and how it's been converted. I can't believe that Parnelli Jones was a part of this story. That is so exciting.
Yeah, he was Big Ollie was, of course, is famous. Sold at Indy a couple of years ago for Parnelli, and there was off-road royalty in Southern California back in the 70s. It was Parnelli Jones, Bill Stroppe, and Charlie Erickson.
Wow.
And so he was involved in this build with Charlie as well as Bill Stroppe was too.
Wow. And so Charlie Erickson, he can you explain who he is, or would you like me to?
So Charlie he owned an accessory store. In fact, I have a catalog from 1970 with the Bronco on the cover. That he had for parts and accessories, but he was tired of going to the sand races and seeing the Jeeps with their 350s and 427s racing, and he wanted to build a Ford Bronco that was completely different and lighten it up and just blow their doors off. And so he picked a 170-inch 6-cylinder. Put a Paxton supercharger on it and built this thing so that he could go school the Jeeps.
Wow. Yeah, Charlie is an off-road specialist from SoCal, off-road racing pioneer, which from
Yes.
Troy's stories, obviously you can tell. And he was chairman of the 1968 off-road rally in Pismo Beach, California. So he raced this exact Bronco from 1966 to 1970. And then there was a second owner that came in, Mr. Leroy Page. And I was hoping that you could tell us about your dad.
So my dad, he sold Fords for years and years. In 1966, when the Bronco came out, he decided that they needed to be a little bit cooler. So he actually met with Charlie Erickson, and he figured out how to customize Broncos a little bit. So he created a little company called Bronco Conversion Center in Salt Lake City, and he would bring new Broncos in, sell them to customers, and then he would take them and he would put the fender flares, a hood scoop. He would pull the carburetor and put a four-barrel carburetor on it, headers, and then he would take it back and sell it as a custom Bronco that was a little bit more of a hot rod than a stock Bronco.
Wow.
So he got to know Charlie that way
Sure.
through doing this, James Duff as well. So through this process, he learned about this Bronco, and he raced for Bennett Ford. He drag raced in a 1970 Maverick, And so he wanted to get into the off-road racing in sand. And so he told Charlie that if he ever decided to sell this Bronco, please make sure he's his first phone call. And so Charlie decided that it was time to sell it. And in early 1970, he called him, and my dad was in a station wagon, an old Squire station wagon, headed to Southern California, hooked it up, and drug it home.
So your dad was also a pioneer in the early days of this, and he had quite a racing career too, didn't he?
He did. He raced a lot. He did the quarter-mile drag races with the Maverick.
Wow.
But his main thing was this Bronco. And he traveled all around doing sand drags, sand hill climbs, and then also snow rallies. This is a picture of him at the snow rally in Park City, Utah. In a full wheelie going up a snow hill, and he had a blast with it. So,
how many wins did he take home?
You know what? When he passed away just a little over a year ago, we were going through his office and getting rid of stuff.
Sure.
But I can't tell you how many trophies were in there. I mean, it was just, he had a wall full of trophies, and his desk was full of trophies, and so. I don't know how many wins he had, but he had a bunch.
Well, this looks like so not only the Sand Dragster Bronco, but a family mover right here. And I know that you guys had a lot of adventures with the Bronco. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so he would tow this with a Bronco like that until probably 1974 or 5. He took a 1962 F-250 and built a ramp truck. So he would pull it up on the ramp truck and he would pull it all around. And so we would go to, after he was done racing, he would put a passenger seat and then the back bucket seat, and you just 4 bolts in each. And then he would drag it down to Jericho sand dunes. And as a family, we would pile in and go climb around the sand dunes for hours and hours. That was our family vacation for years and years, is going to the sand dunes. But he would put the seats in it so we could all sit in it and go.
Do you have a favorite specific memory or moment in that Bronco?
You know, it's probably just running around the Jericho sand dunes day after day. We'd sleep in tents and go down there for multiple days at a time, and people would come from everywhere once it starts, you know that this is the Bronco. In fact, a cool story, we took it to a car show in Southern California probably 12 years ago. I unloaded the Bronco and I backed it right next to Big Ollie. The Big Ollie and the original Stroppe Bronco here's a picture of that. Were the feature Broncos in that show, and I backed it in, and around a corner comes this old man running up towards me. I shut it off, and he comes up, and it's Parnelli Jones, the owner of Big Ollie, and he said that right there, he says, I haven't heard that thing run since 1970, and he says from clear over there, I knew exactly what it was when I heard it backing into its spot. So. It was pretty cool to see Parnelli's reaction when we started it and parked it next to Big Ollie.
So from racing to family memories to it being parked in a garage for a little bit, there was a big restoration that it underwent. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and we talked my dad into, it was probably 14 years, 2011.
Okay.
We talked him into doing a complete frame-off restoration. The only thing we didn't tear apart is the motor, because that's the original. It's done it's as it was made in 1964 or 5. Wow. The Bronco was built then. This motor was put in by Charlie probably in 1966, 67. So we tore it down completely. And did a complete restoration of this Bronco, but we wanted to make sure the mechanical portion of this is as it was built, with the Paxton supercharger, the original 170-inch 6-cylinder. The heads are exactly the way they were built originally. So we spent hours and hours doing this frame-off restoration. A cousin of mine is in the body and paint business, so he did the body and paint work for us. But the four of us brothers and my dad turned every bolt and nut on this thing to do the restoration. It was a year-long project, but it was fantastic. It was a great opportunity for us.
That's so cool, and I love hearing about how families all work together and come together and create these fantastic lifelong memories. Can you also give us a rundown of what's so special about the Bronco?
You bet. So Charlie built this specifically for sand operations. And so he spent a ton of time lightening it up. He wanted it as light as you can because you want to float on the sand. But I guess the main characteristic of this Bronco are these tires, and these are just Blue Streak Goodyear racing slicks that they took, and they machined as much rubber off them as they could. So you can see the sidewalls have been completely shaved. And then they took and this was in 1966, so they took a router basically and carved out these tires, and you cannot see, there's not one groove that's bigger than the other or crooked or anything.
Wow.
And they did those by hand, and the tires that are on it are the original tires from 1966. And I talked to Zach about changing those out and finding some new ones, building them. He says, oh, no. He says, we need those original tires. So those are the original tires and wheels that were built for this Bronco. But they pulled everything off that didn't need to be there to eliminate weight. And that's why he decided to go with the 170-inch six-cylinder, is because they're a lot lighter than a V8. But to make it work, he had to do a lot of head work, and then he put those Stromberg dual carbs, Paxton supercharger, and it runs like a cut cat. It runs very well.
Wow. And tell us where, because the grass is so wet, we don't have the Bronco out here in front of the stage, but tell everyone here where they can find the Bronco here at Mecum.
You know, I don't, it's the building that is just adjacent to the actual staging area of where they go through the auction. It's right in that building, and I don't know what it's called, but it's right adjacent to the staging area of the cars that are getting ready to go across the block.
Okay. And do you mind me asking, why are you selling it?
You know, we talked about it for a long time as a family, and it just didn't make sense for one of us to end up with it and not the other five.
Sure.
And we truly didn't think that one of us could enjoy it like maybe somebody else could, and then who do you pick to get it out of the six? And
right.
So we decided that the best thing for it is to end up with somebody that is either an off-road enthusiast or a museum or something to restore the Bronco history. I mean, you think it's a one of 6 pre-production Broncos, and built like this years and years ago. So we just thought, you know what, it's in great condition,
yep.
And so let's get it to somebody who really appreciates Broncos and can show it more than we do, rather than having it sit in the corner of one of our garages.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You don't have to tell me the price, but is there a reserve on it?
Yes.
And then when does it cross the block?
It crosses, it's lot number 279 Friday, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So that means it'll probably go between 4 and 6 tomorrow.
Okay.
Sometime tomorrow. So, but
Wow.
yeah, we just hope it ends up with somebody that appreciates the Bronco history, and can let more people enjoy it than what we could have sitting in my garage.
Yeah, amazing. Troy, is there anything else that you'd like to add about the Bronco or about your family or about this whole process?
You know, we decided to sell it, and I made one phone call, and it was to Mecum. And because I think they bring the buyers in that are specific to different, I guess, appetites for vehicles.
Yeah.
And so we thought this was, and when I talked to your team, you know, you have multiple sales, but Kissimmee is the mothership of auctions. And so they thought it was a good idea for me to load it up in a trailer, bring it from Utah, and let it sell here, because this is the best auction for classic cars ever. So that's why we felt comfortable with the way they treated us and the way they sold us on the idea of them selling the Bronco. So I think it's a really good fit for something as unique as this Bronco.
Absolutely. And I love it too, because you have some family members that are also out here supporting the sale.
Yeah, so like I said, I have three brothers and 2 sisters, and all of them were able to make it except for one brother. He had to go to Disneyland with his grandkids,
That
and they
sounds like a
already had the
nightmare.
trip planned. So I had, and my wife and my brother's wives are here, and my one sister brought her son, and so yeah, it's just a good time to come out, and we hope it does well, of course, but more importantly, we hope it ends up in a good home,
Yeah.
and somewhere that more people can enjoy it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lorette Nickel. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Real Garage stage. Troy Page, of course, we're going to see the 1966 Ford Bronco Custom Sand Dragster roll across the block tomorrow, and we are crossing our fingers for you. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you, Lorette, for your
Yeah.
time. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks, everyone.